Hey there, hey, my name is Shyam. Um, I'm a Christian, recently converted actually, in the last few months. I come from a Hindu background, and so no one from my family were Christians actually. So, um, started my faith journey of faith a couple of years ago, and I encountered some of C.S. Lewis's works, such as Screw Tape Letters and Mere Christianity. And at one point, I really started thinking, well, is is Christianity really true? And if it really is true, I want to give my life to it, and actually, follow what the scripture says. Um, and yeah, so when I encountered talk about doubts, I was already on my sort of journey of investigation, and when I read the Gospels, it was quite clear to me at first that there seemed to be some discrepancies and some apparent contradictions, even particularly with regards to the resurrection narratives. And so I emailed Dr. McClatchy actually on the Talk About Doubts website about these regarding this this set of doubts and some other doubts I had as well. And he was very kind enough to set up a Zoom call with me immediately, actually, within a week's time, with him and Dr. Andrew McNeil, who both answered my questions. And yeah, I think that Zoom call was extremely helpful because previously I just talked about some of these doubts and questions I had with other friends who are also Christians, and they were just, it's good to talk to other people, but I really wanted to talk to someone who knew their stuff, who had researched this, and who could give me, who I could have more intellectual dialogue with, and I found I could really do that with Dr. McClatchy and Dr. McNeil, and yeah, it was extremely helpful to see some of the flaws I had in my epistemology. For example, I really thought the argument from silence was, it seemed to me quite obvious at first that, oh, if someone's omitted a detail, then surely that thing didn't happen, or surely they've made a mistake, rather than, there could be many reasons that someone's actually omitted a detail or not mentioned something, and particularly when it comes to events such as the resurrection, which are so, these aren't, these aren't events that happen every day, and so different different people will have slightly different testimonies, and that is quite normal to expect discrepancies in eyewitness testimonies. And as Dr. McClatchy pointed out, that you actually, if there weren't any discrepancies, you would actually suspect them of having collusion. And so the fact that there were some obvious discrepancies actually pointed to their independence. And this actually strengthened my faith, and as I saw that it was actually something plausible. And just because Mark has only mentioned one angel doesn't mean there weren't two angels. It just means he's, at the very least, he's chosen to focus on one angel. And even if the eyewitness testimonies he's gathered have reported only one angel, I mean, that wouldn't be cause for concern, because as we previously said, different eyewitnesses remember different details, and when they narrate, they tend to focus on certain details. And so yeah, that conversation was extremely helpful for me. And not just that, but after that, Dr. McClatchy emailed me a wealth of resources, actually, like a wealth. Like, he emailed me primary resources, books on the historicity of the Gospels, books on the reliability of the Old Testament, and even links to some of the papers, some review papers and articles which discuss why the argument from silence was weak, such as Tim McGrew's paper. And I even emailed him back asking him for books that argue against the resurrection, so I could read them and test out some of their objections and see how valid they really were. And he was kind enough to email me a list ordered, ranked in terms of their quality of argument. And so yeah, it was extremely helpful, and I liked that intellectual honesty, honestly, because I don't often see that in people. And so it was great to see that these are people who were willing to acknowledge when they were wrong, and actually gather up evidence that would actually support willing to actually look at the evidence and see whether it actually supported the proposed hypothesis. And the other great thing about Talk About Doubts is the Discord group chat. Honestly, the Discord group chat is great because there's a group of seekers who are seeking the truth, many of them who are believers, some who are not, some who are still on the path, and yeah, who are able to express their doubts openly. And sometimes an expert will answer, sometimes somebody else will answer their thoughts. And yeah, it's really good to see that there are some, sometimes when you have doubts, you can just sort of struggle with it on your own, but it's really good to see that there are other people going through the same doubts, or similar doubts, and actually talk about that with them, talk about doubts. So yeah, and they cover a wide range of topics from philosophy, science, divine hiddenness or historicity of the Old Testament prophecies. So quite a lot of different topics. And yeah, I would highly recommend talk about doubts, especially if you're a seeker, if you're trying to find out the truth, and yeah, really looking at what the legs of your faith are, because it's not every day that you have a vision that confirms the truth of Christianity, or you have an extreme revelation like Paul did. So yeah, I would highly recommend talk about doubts. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, thank you.